Hi, everyone. Welcome to Lunchtime with a Librarian. My name is Catherine. I'm one of the reference librarians at the Haverford Township Free Library, and I am joined today by Patty Mungan, our circulation manager. We're really glad you could join us. We are finishing up our second week of being open to the public for curbside pickup and grab and go, and it's been so great to see all of you. And we're so glad to get to continue doing our virtual programming as well to reach you that way. So without further ado, we're going to start our Lunchtime with a Librarian. So Patty, will you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
I am Patty Mungan. I work here at the Haverford Township Free Library as the circulation manager. I have been at the library. It will be 20 years in November. Wow. I know, it's amazing. It's hard to believe how much time I've been here and how fast it's gone by. I started here at the library in children's, and I was in there for probably 11 years. And then the opportunity came for me to do something different. And then I became the circulation manager. And I also love that too. It's been great.
Fantastic. That's a big anniversary. I didn't realize it was 20 years this year. That's so exciting.
I know. It is pretty exciting. Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing about libraries?
Probably my favorite thing is, well, first of all, we love books because I wouldn't be here if I did,
Yes.
and being surrounded by books and by my colleagues, who I work really well with. That's so wonderful for me. And the patrons. I mean, I really enjoy talking with them, meeting them every day, talking to them about what they're reading, what their interests are, sharing information with them if they're looking to find out new things, sharing your knowledge. So pretty much that's what I like about it. I really like that communication and with the public. It's fun.
Fantastic. So what did you do before you came to work at HTFL?
Okay, so before I came here, I had two great jobs.
Okay.
My one is a lifelong job. I was home with my children. Mark and I have two fantastic girls, Allison and Emily. So I was home with them during their really young years and also the years through a lot of their schooling. So that was great. It was such a great opportunity, and I was so happy to be able to do that. Before that, my career was as an HR manager at a city hospital, which I also was a great job, and I loved it every day. It was really an interesting place to work. A hospital is exciting. There's always something going on. And it was a great experience for me. It really was. And working in HR is human resources is great because you really get to know all the employees in an organization when you do that, and you get to really help them out with different situations, and it was great. I really liked it a lot. So I've had a couple of careers along the way.
Very cool. So then we kind of talked about it before, but after that, what drew you to libraries initially?
Well, it was really completely by accident. I was here with my oldest daughter, Allison, at the library. She was doing some research on a project, so I was with her. And I was at the circulation desk, and at the time, there was a large whiteboard there, and it said that there was a position open in children's. And I looked at it, and like I said, I had been home for, a good 14 years, with the girls. So I just went home and I kind of thought about it, and I talked to my husband about it. And I said, I think I might want to do this, just kind of to ease my way back in. It was part-time. So I applied for the job in children's, and I got the job.
Very cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was pretty great. And, had always used the library all the time. And ironically enough, when I was in high school, in my free period, all my 4 years, I worked in the library at my high school that I went to. Yeah. Nice. So that was really, I always tell people that little did I know that, way in the future that I would be back in the library again. So that's how it
seems like that's pretty common, that a lot of us kind of ended up here by accident, but maybe not so much by accident, that we're all kind of meant to be here, I think.
You know what? I think you're right. I really do. I think that is very, very true.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite books?
So some of my favorite books, I love biographies. I also love fiction. They're my two favorite genres. My favorite book ever is Little Woman.
Yeah.
I loved it when I read it as a young girl. I reread it. There's so many things I like about the book. I like the story about four women and about each of the ways that they develop their personal goals and their relationships and how it affects with all the people that surround them. I love that even back when that was written, that there was a voice for the independent woman who was looking for what she wanted out of her life, and it was about her and not as much about who she was, with at the time. So I really like that. So I think that kind of just resonated with me. So that really is my all-time favorite book, and I recommend it all the time. When I was in children's, every time there was someone I thought was at the right age, I would say, you need to read Little Woman. So that was really good for me. And I love the classics. Jane Eyre is another one of my favorite books. And I also like new things too. I love Big Little Lies, I love those kinds of things. And I also, in biographies, I've read a lot of different biographies. You probably already know this, but I read the Bruce Springsteen one, which I was completely enamored with. I thought it was written so well, and I just like biographies that really touch on all points of people's lives. The highs, the lows. That you and when you're finished it, that you really feel like you've got to know the person. So that's my favorite thing about a biography, and I find that I like that.
Very cool. Are there books besides like Little Women or Jane Eyre that you find yourself kind of returning to or rereading regularly?
Well, I decided to do something, and I'm just starting it now, but I've been talking about it for a while, but I haven't done it. But this is what I'm going to do. I would really like to reread some of the books that I read in school.
Oh, nice.
Because I'd like to read them at where I am now, the space I am in now, the age I am now, what my life is like now. And I thought it would be interesting to see how I feel about those books at this time. So, of course, a lot of the classics that we all read in school, like The Great Gatsby, and one of my favorite books in high school was called A Separate Peace. It was by John Knowles, and that was probably one of my all-time favorite books. So I think I'm going to start with that one, and I'd like to see how I can relate to it as an adult now in my life.
That's a great idea. I love that. So outside of reading, what are some of your hobbies or interests?
So I swim. I love to swim. So swimming is a big thing. And I also walk as my other thing I love to do. I also love to cook. I really do. I love to find new recipes. I enjoy the whole process of cooking, like looking for the recipe and then, going forward and making it and see if it's a success or maybe not so much. So I like.
Do you have like a go-to recipe or like a specialty?
I don't really. I love to cook. I cook a lot of seafood and a lot of fish. So they're really the ones that I really like. I was taught to cook by my grandmother who lived with us when I was younger. And she would look at the recipe and then make it her own.
Yeah. So
the thing I do is I kind of do the same thing. And if I don't have one ingredient, I'll put something else in that I think will work. So it's not really good to ask me for a recipe because I don't always measure. But it seems to work good, But so that's kind of, and I think that's part of the fun for me is that I like to kind of, do it that way, kind of have a place to start and then go from there. So that's kind of how I cook. And I did find I did a lot more cooking, like everyone did in the recent months. Found out that I really do love it, but I still really do like to go out to eat.
Yes.
So whenever that returns, I'll be able to do that again.
Hopefully soon.
So I like to do that too.
So beyond cooking, what are you going to remember most about those months we were in quarantine?
Oh my goodness. Well, one of the things I will remember is that I feel like I got to spend a lot of time with my husband, Mark. And even though we're together, a lot of the time anyhow, but the quarantine was different, and, we really enjoyed it. it was just a lot of time to talk about so many different things.
Yeah.
And so that was really, really nice. We did some projects around our house, which was kind of fun, and things that we have been wanting to do, but hard to make the time to do. So we also did that, which was great. I also found something else about myself, is that we all worked from home during that time, which was fine, but I really found out that I much more enjoy working in the library.
Yes.
I love that, I love that connection with my colleagues and with the patrons. So I found that if I ever, if I have a choice, I know exactly where I want to be, which would be here.
Absolutely. Me too.
You too? Yeah.
Yes. That first day we were back, I remember saying it felt like the first day of school, but like if I had liked high school, it would have felt like it was so exciting to come back and see everyone.
Catherine, that's great. That's exactly how it felt. You're right.
So do you have places that are kind of your favorites to travel or visit, or places that like are on your bucket list for travel?
I do. So I love to travel for sure. Locally, I'm a total beach girl. I love the shore. That's always a go-to. Traveling, yes. A lot of I've been to Europe a couple times. I definitely want to go, and I have not been to Paris. That's kind of on my bucket list. So I hope that someday, I'll be able to do that. But I always seem to find that wherever I choose, I always feel like I want to go again. Like, when I was in Italy, I'm like, definitely have to come back to Italy, or Ireland, which is so beautiful. So love those trips. Also, I really love California. So we've managed to see most of the coast of California, from like San Francisco down to San Diego. But there's a little piece in Santa Barbara that we haven't seen yet, in Monterey. So that is on the list to do also. So that will be fun. But one of the best things I got to do, which I know you can totally relate to because you did this too, we did a bucket list item right before the pandemic started. So we went to spring training, Philly spring training, which was so fabulous.
Isn't it great?
We talked about it for years to go and go and go. And, we just hadn't done it. And then around Christmas time, we went, this is it. We're going to spring training. So we went, and it was everything I thought it would be. It was so much fun.
It's so fun.
And hopefully we'll do it again.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And it was great timing right before everything shut down. We got our sports fix in, our live sports, and, going to games. And so I feel very lucky that we got to do that before all this.
Oh my gosh, we thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
We were saying, like, we saw the last Phillies game before everything happened, and like how great that was for us sports fans. We love that. So that was very fun.
All right, and then I just have one more question, and that is, what do you like about serving the patrons in this community specifically?
So many things.
Yeah.
I really enjoy, as I said before, talking to all the patrons and finding out, suggesting reads for them. When I worked in children's, I loved doing research with kids, helping them out with their school projects. And now with the adults, finding out what they want to read and how I can assist them in getting that great book that they're looking for, if I can. But one of the things that I've been, that's really kind of solidified everything I love about the library is now that we've returned and people have just started coming back in, and the number of people that just come in and say, oh, I'm so happy to be here again, and I'm so happy that you're opened and that I can come back in, and whether it's to grab and go a book or a quick browse, but it's really great to see how much this community, and I'm sure many communities, really appreciate their libraries, and I think this has kind of sealed the deal for me, like I always felt that way about it. I always felt that I loved what I do, and I hope that it was reflected in my daily work and my daily interactions. But now seeing people coming back in and with the gratitude they have, that we're so fortunate to have a library and to have a great library like ours that has so many great services. And that's kind of my favorite thing. I really, always thought that it was, but now I know for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Patty. This has been great. I really enjoyed it.
Catherine, thank you so much for asking me to do this. I
Oh
was
my gosh.
very happy to do it. And it's always great to talk with you all the
You
time.
too. My pleasure.